Trump issues warning to Putin, is accused of bullying by China, and is urged to occupy Brussels by Hungary. How new president is already shaking the world as global leaders react. World leaders have had mixed reactions to Donald Trump's return to the White House, with some welcoming his inauguration, others expressing concerns, and a select few even celebrating with him in person at yesterday's ceremony. The 47th President of the United States has made a number of dramatic foreign policy pitches for his second term in office, including that he will end all wars, take over the Panama Canal, and buy or even seize Greenland. International allies of Trump, including Argentina's President Javier Milei, who attended the inauguration, and Hungary's populist leader Viktor Orban, issued gushing messages of support for the new president. Populist Prime Minister Orban offered his congratulations, adding triumphantly, "Now it's our turn to shine. It's our turn to occupy Brussels," in reference to what he called a great patriotic faction in the heart of Europe working with the new president. Trump has vowed to act swiftly, with a string of executive orders on his first day in office seeing him reverse Biden administration policies, including by reinstating Cuba to a list of state sponsors of terrorism. China described the move as a demonstration of U.S. bullying, with the country's foreign minister saying the use of the list runs counter to facts and fully reveals the hegemonic, high-handed and bullying face of the U.S. Just hours after America's new president was sworn in, dictators Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin doubled down on their anti-West alliance by holding a video call in which they discussed how to respond to the shift in the world order. Putin described Russia's ties with China as self-sufficient and is said to have called on Xi to deepen China's cooperation with his country, with Beijing considered a crucial ally amid Russia's war in Ukraine. Trump vowed that he would put a stop to the war, which is approaching the 3-year mark in 24 hours, with hopes that he will get both Kiev and Moscow to the negotiating table. Ukraine's President Zelensky, who is desperately vying for Trump's support, welcomed his inauguration, calling it a day of hope for the resolution of many problems, including global challenges. President Trump is always decisive, and the peace through strength policy he announced provides an opportunity to strengthen American leadership and achieve a long-term and just peace, which is a top priority, he said. Congratulating Trump and saying he was open to dialogue with the new U.S. administration on the wars in Ukraine, Putin said, "I want to emphasize that its goal should not be a brief truce, but a lasting peace based on respect for the legitimate interests of all people." But just hours later, Trump issued a blow to the Kremlin, accusing Putin of destroying Russia with his failed war as he urged him to make a deal to end the conflict. "He has to make a deal. I think he is destroying Russia by not making a deal," Trump said in a stark warning to the dictator. "I think Russia is going to be in big trouble," he added, saying that Putin can't be thrilled that he's not doing so well. "I mean, he works hard, but most people thought the war would be over in about a week, and now it's been 3 years, right? The Russian economy was sinking," he went on, with inflation a major threat. Putin, 72, earlier said he was ready to engage with Trump but still insisted on an outcome favoring Russia. "We are open to dialogue with the new U.S. administration on the Ukrainian conflict. The most important thing here is to eliminate the root causes of the crisis," said the Russian ruler. An initial phone call is expected by Moscow to take place soon. Trump said Zelensky was ready for a deal to halt the debilitating conflict, and the 78-year-old U.S. leader said he planned to meet Putin, with whom he had a great relationship during his first term. "We're going to try to do it as quickly as possible. You know, the war between Russia and Ukraine should never have started." Trump joked about his campaign promise to end the conflict in 24 hours, pointing out on Monday that he had not been president that long after being sworn in around midday. "That's only half a day. I have the other half of the day. We'll see," he said. France's President Emmanuel Macron, who has long been critical of Trump, has responded with skepticism to the claim, warning that Russia's war against Ukraine would not end tomorrow. "Let us not delude ourselves. This conflict will not end tomorrow or the day after," Macron said in his New Year's address to the French armed forces. He called on Europe to wake up and spend more on defense as Trump returns to power, after the president warned that Washington could stop defending its alliance allies if they do not meet defense spending targets. Trump has also spoken repeatedly of slashing support to Ukraine, prompting European nations to re-examine their defense sufficiency. "What will we do in Europe tomorrow if our American ally withdraws its warships from the Mediterranean?" if they send their fighter planes from the Atlantic to the Pacific. Macron said, "The answer will have to come from us." Italy's Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni was the only European leader in attendance at yesterday's inauguration. A close ally of Trump, she posted a picture of them together as she offered her best wishes to the president for the beginning of his new mandate at the helm of the United States of America. She wrote on X, "I am certain that the friendship between our nations and the values that unite us will continue to strengthen the collaboration between Italy and the USA, facing global challenges together and building a future of prosperity and security for our peoples. Italy will always be committed to consolidating the dialogue between the United States and Europe as an essential pillar for the stability and growth of our communities." Meanwhile, Panama reacted sharply to Trump's pledge that the U.S. would be taking back the Panama Canal, with the country's president saying in his message to Trump that the key interoceanic waterway would remain under its control. "The canal is and will remain Panama's," President José Raúl Mulino said, amid comments from Trump that China could take control of it by stealth. Beijing offered a diplomatic message to mark Trump's return to office, saying Tuesday it hopes for cooperation with Washington to resolve trade issues. China is willing to strengthen dialogue and communication with the United States and properly manage differences, said Foreign Ministry spokesman Guo Jiaquan, adding, "It is hoped that the United States will work with China to jointly promote the stable development of China-U.S. economic and trade relations."